Today, the Queens District Attorney laid out the latest arsenal prosecutors confiscated from an apartment building. CBS 2's Alice Gaynor shows us.
This table full of 25 ghost guns, including semi-automatic pistols, assault weapons, a semi-automatic shotgun, and also large-capacity magazines and ammunition, were recovered from an apartment bedroom in Fresh Meadows, Queens. Early Wednesday morning, police executed a search warrant in this first-floor apartment on 162nd Street. You can see the door has since been replaced.
You have no idea where they are being built, and that's what makes them all the more dangerous. And, by the way, difficult to find. Investigators were conducting an ongoing surveillance of the defendant, who has allegedly been buying firearm parts online.
If convicted, he faces up to 25 years in prison. No one answered the door, but someone at the apartment did answer via the building intercom.
Would you like to comment on his arrest?
No, I will not.
This marks the 5th Queens ghost gun bust since August.
These individuals buy the parts, they put them together, and then they sell them or they use them in violent crimes. And they are almost impossible to trace. These are weapons that would have been used and cannot be used now.
Queens District Attorney Melinda Katz talking about a stunning joint operation with the NYPD that resulted in the arrest of a 36-year-old Queens man charged with making guns in the garage of this red brick home in Richmond Hill. Take a look at them, the sheer magnitude of what was being manufactured on this quiet Queens street. There are AR-15s and AK-47 style assault weapons, handguns, pistols, 15,000 rounds of ammunition, plus the machinery to turn the plastic parts into lethal weapons.
If there are guns in the city of New York, we are coming to get them.
Police officials say the manufacture of ghost guns locally is a growing and dangerous trend. Melinda Katz says the importance of the arrest is that it helps reduce gun violence.
At the bare minimum, people in New York City deserve to be able to walk their children to school safely, to be able to walk their dogs safely, to know that their grandparents can take a walk in the neighborhood.
A 21-year-old Nassau County man is accused of building 3D ghost guns. Police were called to the Massapequa home on Saturday.
The house on Phillips Road in Massapequa fits right in, an American flag and Easter decor, but inside, Nassau police say it wasn't your typical suburban home.
They recovered a 9mm semi-automatic 3D ghost gun. So this is your ghost gun. The bottom part is made through 3D machines. That's plastic. The top part you buy through the mail with no serial number.
Nassau police displayed weapons and parts found in the house, including an assault rifle they say was made with 2 3D printers, plastic gun handles, clips and frames, coupled with metal parts bought online, illegal and untraceable.
Making it out of plastic, and then they could ship this. Undetectable when you go through the airport.
Gilrain is free on bail. No comment from people leaving the home. In court papers, he told police, I bought a 3D printer and I saw online that people were doing, and I thought it would be cool. Police say this is no kid stuff, charging him with weapons manufacturing and possession. Also confiscated $3,000 in cash, a money counting machine, and other weapons.
Today, people can sit at home in their living room, log onto their computer, access a piece of software, send a signal to their printer, and print out a machine gun that can kill people. That's a problem.
John Miller, the NYPD Deputy Commissioner for Intelligence and Counterterrorism, standing next to a table where the machine gun he was talking about was laid out with other guns, high-capacity magazines, and 2 3D printers that were confiscated from this man, Deontay Haynes, a 30-year-old Brooklyn man who police say manufactured the weapons at 2 apartments. John Miller says these guns, untraceable because they have no serial numbers, are an increasing problem as the NYPD tries to stem the tide of gun crimes that have terrified New Yorkers. The untraceable ghost guns make it more difficult to arrest people because there are no records of where they were manufactured and who bought them.
Well, there's a new front on the NYPD's war on guns.
The department says 3D printed ghost guns are now making their way onto city streets, and officers recently uncovered these weapons and ammo.
This would be an example of a 3D printed lower receiver right here.
A gun created on a 3D printer. Add a few more parts to it, and it is a fully functioning weapon. 3D guns, as well as ghost guns, rounded up in an NYPD bust in Brooklyn. The suspect making both in his home using a printer combined with parts he ordered online. Ghost guns are increasing in popularity.
A major gun bust announced today in Queens. It follows the arrests of 4 men accused of having 33 guns, 78 high-capacity magazines, and thousands of rounds of ammunition. Police say the weapons were at 4 locations in Bayside and Flushing. These arrests stem from a long-term investigation targeting untraceable illegal ghost guns. The suspects face multiple charges, including possession and sale of firearms.
Long Island dentist facing charges tonight after police say they discovered a trove of illegal firearms and untraceable ghost guns at his home and office.
Jody Goldberg has more now on the bus in Massapequa and the arsenal of weapons authorities found inside.
On his website, Dr. Paul Carey prides himself in treating every patient with kindness. But what police say was taking place in the basement of the dentist's home where he practiced was dangerous and illegal.
There were 30 guns found in his house. 20 of those guns were illegal.
Police call it an arsenal of weapons, including so-called unregulated ghost guns, a growing trend on Long Island that anyone can purchase, buy, and build.
We cannot trace ghost guns. That's why it's so important to recognize the fact that these ghost guns, how dangerous they are.
Investigators say Carey, who pleaded not guilty to charges including criminal possession of a weapon, was allegedly shipping gun parts to his home in Massapequa and assembling them in a machine shop in his basement.
There's a lot of children that live in this neighborhood, and I think that everyone is happier that, you know, he's no longer a possible threat.
Also recovered silencers, more than 60 high-capacity magazines, and 3,000 rounds of ammo.
It's not limited to gang members and drug dealers. In this instant, it's a person of some regard in his community.
The judge set bond at $100,000. On the top charge, he faces a max of 25 years in prison.
Happening today, we're going to learn more about the so-called ghost guns recovered on Long Island. A suspect is already in custody accused of possessing multiple firearms and a means to make them without any serial numbers or identification. John DeHana of Port Washington was arrested earlier this week, accused of having 11 ghost guns and 3,000 rounds of ammo. Today, Nassau County Police will discuss their long-term investigation with the FBI. Investigators say DeHana had kits used to build the guns.
We're 240 miles from New York City, where we work and where we live. And there's a big concern about ghost guns. There are young people using them and shooting other people. And if you're charged with bringing up kits from Maryland, there's high interest in New York.
Yeah, it is, yeah, I have to consult the lawyer.
Pix 11 News found Wenley Bai wearing white socks and a plaid shirt a month after he made bail in the biggest ghost gun case so far in New York State.
It's not the case at all.
Are you saying that you were unfairly charged?
Right.
Wenley Bai's Toyota Sienna was parked in the driveway of his stately home in Frederick, Maryland. The same Toyota that was stopped on Sunrise Highway in Queens on March 8th by undercover cops from the DA's office, who said they found enough parts to make 74 ghost guns. Untraceable. These white boxes contain plastic kits that deliver weapons 80% assembled.
We are focusing on the people, the places, and the things that lead to criminality.
Bai also accused of selling high-capacity magazines that hold more than 10 bullets, along with receivers for AR-15 rifles. A Long Island dentist and a New York City firefighter, just 2 of the people busted this year for building or buying ghost guns. A Polymer 80 kit available for less than $90. We saw one couple making a quick exit when they found Lancaster's store wasn't selling the product.
They just asked me if we sold P80 kits, and I said, no, we don't sell them.
And they were disappointed?
They're not here.
But you can find the kits if you take a 30-minute drive southeast to Hanover Armory in Glen Burnie, Maryland, where they weren't happy to see strangers from New York.
I just wasn't sure if the stores were still selling them.
We're not talking to the press.
We did meet a young man leaving the store with 2 polymer gun kits in his bag who said plenty of businesses still sell them.
There's a lot of places that are eligible.
That still sell them.
Right.
The state of Maryland has new gun laws taking effect June 1st that will put more pressure on some companies that manufacture weapons, leaving them open to lawsuits.
And President Biden says serial numbers will now be required on the parts being sold in ghost gun kits. Is this enforceable? In our next report, we found some people who say no in the state of Pennsylvania.